Hey everyone, so in this video, I'm going to go over how inflation affects your daily expenses and budgeting. So I just created this really quick diagram with the help of ChatGPT, of course, as far as helping understanding what's happening with the economy. So how inflation affects your daily expenses and budgeting. So first and foremost, we've got to understand what is inflation, okay? So inflation basically is when the prices of goods and services increase over time, therefore reducing our purchasing power. So an example of this is 10 apples for $10 last year now costs $12. While that may not seem a lot, inflation does affect your purchasing power, even in small increments like that. Now, with inflation, you basically have the rising cost of essentials. So food prices tend to increase, such as a loaf of bread rising from $3 to $4. Utilities, okay, heating your home costs more with rising gas and electricity prices, and with gasoline, filling your car becomes more expensive. So inflation also has an impact on savings and purchasing power. So savings lose value over time, like a bucket with a slow leak, and paychecks stay the same, but groceries cost more. Now, you also have increased debt costs, right? So loans and credit cards, the interest rates rise from 5% to 7%, for example. And as far as an analogy goes, paying debt feels like running on a treadmill that keeps speeding up. So that's actually a great analogy as far as increased debt costs goes. Now for budgeting challenges, okay, for people who are into budgeting, monthly budgets shrink as prices rise. And also, surprise price hikes require frequent adjustments. Now, the effect on housing costs when it comes to inflation. So rent, landlords will usually raise rents to keep up with costs. And with home buying, saving for down payments becomes harder as property prices start to climb. Now, with something called shrinkflation, this is when companies reduce product sizes but keep prices the same, okay? So maybe there's less chips in a bag, or maybe the item is actually smaller, but the price remains the same. So be aware of inflation just because that is a common thing. So the example that it gives is that a chocolate bar shrinks from 100 grams to 90 grams, but is still only $2. So for lifestyle adjustments, as far as inflation goes, you are going to need to cut non-essentials like streaming subscriptions or gym memberships perhaps, and even switch from eating out weekly to meal prepping at home. Also choose generic brands over name brands. Now, saving strategies become crucial. So you want to make sure you explore inflation-proof investments like stocks or bonds. And also emergency funds acts as a safety net for price jumps. So make sure you always have that 3 to 6 months of savings or expenses saved up just in case for emergencies. Now, the impact on retirement planning. Inflation reduces retirement savings value over time. And so the retirement fund is like a boat with a slow leak, requiring extra savings to stay afloat. So saving up does become harder with inflation. Now, opportunities amid inflation, side hustles, okay, you can turn hobbies into an extra income. And then also you can cut costs. So trim wasteful spending to allow essentials to thrive. So that is essentially how inflation will affect daily expenses and budgeting. I hope you found this video helpful just as I'm trying to actually learn this as well. But if you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know down below.